Story arc?
Going live. Are we going live? Are we going live?
Yes, right?
Are we going live?
Are we live right now?
You're alive. It's alive! Oh my god, it's alive!
I was thinking more like live from New York, but
It's alive!
live from New York. It's Saturday night.
No, it's Thursday. I know what day it is.
Oh, it is. It is
Oh
Thursday.
my god, it's Thursday.
I thought it was a
Is
weekend.
it Thursday? Is it Thursday? Oh my god, where's the line with Matt and Ross? Oh, there we are. I see us now.
You see us now?
I see us now.
Oh wow,
We are live.
we're live.
We're live.
Hey,
But who's on first? That would be the question. How are you doing today, brother?
pretty good.
You
Better.
seem like you're in,
Better
you seem
than
in a
most
good
days.
spot.
Better than most days.
Smoke billowing. I apologize, folks. Today's topic's a little weird.
Is it?
Not really. I don't think. Do you?
Not really.
I think we all suffer from it.
Yep.
I think we've all watched bad TV shows that eventually, got us sucked in and then had horrible finales.
Yeah.
The reality is I never watched the show Lost. But
Me neither.
me neither.
I watched Lost in Space though. That's a good show. I like that show.
Danger Will Robinson. Danger Will Robinson. That's
that-
my call out to
Is that what
Robbie.
he says?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't watched them in so long. Like my mom had them on VHS.
Oh, so have you watched the new one?
No, they made a new one. There's a new Lost in Space.
There is.
I gotta see that. I gotta see what that's about.
Ooh, I gotta see if I can make this work.
Make what work?
Well, it dawned on me. It won't. I would not do that.
Oh, there is a new Lost in Space.
There is. It's amazing.
Oh wow,
You're talking to your phone instead of talking to the
that's
people while
funny.
moving
That's
stuff
funny.
around.
I don't know what to talk about. Hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? How's life? Good, I hope.
Good, you hope.
Yep, I hope it's good.
I hope it's good too.
Yep,
Anybody out there feel a little lost? A little lost.
a little lost.
I think we all get lost from time to time. I think
Definitely,
I think that's part of the reality that
it's part of life.
I was saying to Ross before we came on that oftentimes you get to the point where what you're doing is running around so fast, wearing a million different masks, trying to get it right for a million different people, and then you turn around and wonder where you are.
Mm.
You're like, oh crap, I'm going full speed, but I don't even know what direction I'm going.
I learned something funny from an editor. It was so they had said they were talking about rookie editors versus like seasoned editors. And one thing they talked about was a rookie editor will go through the whole video and do the whole thing at once and go through and do, all right, so I'm going to do this graphic and then I'm going to do this voice and then I'm going to do this. Instead of, all right, I'm going to get the graphics of the whole thing figured out. I'm going to get the music of the whole thing figured out. So instead of just switching hats every once in a while,
You're completing
you
a
sit
task.
down, put a hat on, sit with that for a little bit, and then you put the next hat on when you're done.
I think that's so true.
Yeah, it's different.
I don't mean any offense in the sense that I'm trying to build a following on social media. I hate social media.
Me too.
That the way I've had to deal with the fact that it can pull you in and give you that lost feeling because man, all of a sudden you're addicted to all of the chimes and bells and whistles.
I frequently try to forget it.
You have to set an hour. You have to go, you know what, I know that because of what I'm doing, I have to do a certain amount of social media every day.
Right.
But oh man, I try to then stay away from it.
Set an alarm of some sort is the way to go, I think. Like set
Sometimes.
a timer. Okay, I'm gonna be on here for an hour. When this timer goes off, I'm turning it off.
Best time to post on Facebook is between 2 and 3.
In the morning?
2 and 3 in the evening.
Okay.
2 and 3 in the afternoon, excuse me.
Okay.
But that was a fun fact I found one day. I was like, oh really?
There's a couple of them on Instagram and TikTok. There's a couple different times.
You can see that we're running in a million directions.
Yep.
You can see the reality of it. I think we all, in our day-to-day, especially with things currently going on, get a lot of that, where am I supposed to stand? I mean, especially with the pandemic. For 3 years, we've been doing a dance with everybody we see in the hopes of the right distance, the right this, the right that. Right. You get so busy dancing, it's like, where am I standing?
Right.
And I think life gets that way. that we all are looking for a place where we can exist as ourselves. I know I keep going back to this. That I think we end up lost because we don't feel like there's a space where we can really even be ourselves. Self-imposed even.
So when I think about when you said that the topic today was lost, my first thought was, okay, I can think of countless times that I've been lost. And literally, like,
okay, give me a
being
story.
lost. Okay, so recently, I've been trying to make an album.
Okay.
And when it comes to lost, I don't even know how to start. I really
overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed is the way to.
What pieces?
So
how should I do this?
Literally, the first thought I had was, okay, I'm gonna write down. Hard to know where to start or how to write this down. That's it. And like literally, it was on from there. And now I almost finished the first song. And I feel really good because of the fact that I sat down and I actually thought, all right, I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna just write that down.
Okay.
Like literally,
be honest.
Yeah, be as honest as I possibly can.
You sound like somebody I know that gives you advice.
That's funny.
I'll get him and his little doggy.
Wicked Witch of the Midwest.
Right, Wicked Witch.
Wicked Witch of the Midwest. Yeah.
There's nobody out there.
Is there?
I don't know.
Nah, it's okay. That's okay. We'll talk to nobody. It's okay.
We don't have to talk to nobody.
We'll talk to everybody and nobody. It don't matter. We'll talk.
This is you know what?
That's the reality.
A show about not putting on a show.
Right?
Honesty.
Yeah. Honesty is everything.
I think that's the line continuously.
Honesty is everything.
When it comes to art, when it comes to communication, when it comes to all of it. The easiest way, if you're lost, for me to deal with lost is to start off with honesty with myself.
To some extent, any form of communication, the first thought should always be, am I getting my point across? The first thought should always be, am I saying what needs to be said? Well,
and for me, embracing that means I'm very forgiving of the idea that other people are doing the same, and maybe my perspective is deciding what they mean when they really haven't been able to establish what they truly mean.
Right. To some extent, I've always been able to, like, when it comes to talking, I've always been able to, like, say what I mean. To some extent. Just because of the fact that I can, with
great force.
Well, like,
comes great responsibility.
I feel like if I can say something that someone else feels, then maybe, like,
they can connect.
Yeah, and it'll be different than if I tried to hide it, because of the fact that if I try to hide something, there's no chance that someone else will even connect with it. Well, I'm trying to hide it.
That if in your state of feeling lost, you don't communicate it and then become even more resentful of people not noticing.
Yep.
As much as we would like to be noticed, communicating our needs is a very real aspect of how we get them met. Self-care is real care.
Yes.
That the thing to always remember when we think, so we go into the world going, oh, I need to be compassionate with the other living things and the other people in my world. What we often forget is that includes you.
Right.
That compassionate of yourself is part of being successful.
Right.
Otherwise, you're motivated in a way that doesn't make it so you have a perspective that's healthy. Oh no!
What happened?
Oh no!
What?
Our other admin got a nail in her tire.
Oh no, that's not good.
How is she gonna? So, I had this figured out. What was it? She, from who I sprang, is en route to see the fruit of my loins in Florida. And so we were running a little late, actually earlier than yesterday, because I had to run She Who Funds Our World and From Whose Loins I Sprang to the airport. And then it sounds like her ride on the other end has a flat tire.
Oh, wow.
there's a little bit of flight between here and there. Hopefully tires can be fixed. All of that.
Hopefully, yeah. I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so.
Don't get lost.
That's funny.
What word describes Ross? He was feeling a little lost that day. Could you tell?
Definitely.
What word describes me? Interested. What word describes you? It's a lost feeling, though.
Yeah.
What word describes you today?
What word describes me today?
Meh. I've added a letter.
I've added a letter, a single letter. None, but I'd say probably motivated.
Motivated.
Yeah.
So
it changes from day to day.
It's one of the most important things to remember when you're feeling that lost sensation.
Yeah.
Is to give yourself the respect of remembering you've felt this before, and you've gotten through it.
Well, to some extent, like, it's funny because we have our own ways of quitting. Even though, like, I think every person has their own ways of, like, quitting in a situation, even though, like, they know
Shutting
that they
down.
can't quit.
Right.
Like, even if you know that you can't, you still have your own ways of, like, all right, I'm gonna sleep for the next couple days. I'm just gonna go to work, go to school. I'm gonna go to sleep. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Like, just falling into that cycle.
The worst for me is sometimes it's literally physical.
Right.
I mean, I know the difference between figuratively and literally.
Right.
I mean, you've seen the days where it's like, whoa, there's nothing left.
No, but it's like some days I'll ask you, hey, are you okay? And the response isn't always, all right, my back hurts, my neck hurts, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it's just, my head hurts. My mind just can't take it today.
Can't take it.
Like,
yeah, that it's too much.
And I just need to not.
You'll get a week where I'm taking punches and I'm just like, the first week we were doing this, I was rolling with it, but I was here.
I'll be honest, the first week we did this, with the exception of the first show, I was pretty off. Whole time. I was pretty off.
I think that, okay, so the show about not being a show, we bring it all here to you. That I'm not hiding. I like to hide, but don't get me wrong, I do. Since the beginning of this year, I'm not hiding. Well, it's what. So the holidays are always stressful for me. Christmas I had big plans. And A, they were falling apart, but B, I was falling apart, and I had to get to a space where I remembered, as much as I was falling apart, this is better than 12 months ago.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely. You gotta remember that.
That it's easy to be put on your heels by what's in front of you as an insurmountable task. But if you look back, many of the tasks you thought were insurmountable, you've accomplished.
I definitely get the most done when I take it step by step, when I break it down a little bit.
Step by step, dude.
Every step you take. I can't remember how that song goes. It's the Full House theme song. You know the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Can you sing that?
No.
Every step you take.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, guys. See, I'm not good at this. Every once in a while the songs just jumble in my head. Jumble all the way up.
B-I-N-G-O?
What did that have to do with anything?
My songs got jumbled. And bingo was his. Oh, Old MacDonald?
Old MacDonald
had a dog?
Isn't that the same song?
Yeah. No.
It should be the same. It's both about farm animals.
Bingo was a dog. You don't milk dogs.
Wait, Bingo's a dog?
Do not take Ross to a farm. He will be lost.
I'm a city kid. I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm a city kid.
You know what? It is an interesting thing, because when we think of lost, there's an overwhelming feeling when you try something new.
Definitely. Where
you're like, oh, and you're afraid people are going to realize you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
I like this. This is for my daughter. I like to express that it is better to ask for help than ask for forgiveness. that I think one of the first things in learning is admitting you don't know stuff, and that's a hard thing to communicate. We draw a lot of lines about, ooh, I don't want people to see that I don't know things.
Right.
But meanwhile, we all know
we don't know things.
That and not only that, but the things we do know, we started off not knowing.
Well, to some extent.
Really? That's the way that it works.
The philosophical answer to life is that you don't know nothing. And Socrates knew that. And if Socrates was smart enough to know that, you should probably know that too. But,
all we are is dust in the wind.
Like a candle in the wind.
How do you end up on Elton John from Dust in the Wind?
Dust in the Wind, Candle in the Wind. That's
easy.
That's
different
easy.
songs.
Easy jump in my head. Totally. I don't know. It both said wind.
BINGONE.
It both said wind.
And Rossi was his
name. You jump from bingo to old MacDonald had a farm, and then you made fun of me and said that it was a far jump in my head. That don't make sense.
It seems like a leap to me. Are you lost?
It seems like a leap.
Are you lost?
It's not a quantum leap.
Should we talk about quantum physics today? I could really bore you. And then I could really get a call from the actual guy that understands physics in my family going, you just don't have a clue. I know, but that's the advantage. I'm not supposed to have a clue. I don't know if the cat's dead or alive. I don't want to open the box.
What's in the box? Yep. See, sometimes it's like, what is the word? Telepathy. I was gonna say telepathy. That would have been worse.
Telepathy?
Yeah, telepathy.
Telepathy, eh?
Telepathy.
The telepathy counts. It's good to be telepathic.
What are we talking about?
You are lost in this English. Exactly. That's the point.
Hey man, sometimes you got to get lost when you're talking about being lost.
The reality about being lost is it's your brain trying to find its space.
Of course.
Or trying to find its place. Or trying to find its grip on an icy road, however you want to think of it.
Right.
But as we just showed, your mind will go like this, though.
Mm-hmm. So I was talking about last night that your mind makes sense if you take a second to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally, I think humans look for patterns.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a pattern guy.
If you can't see the patterns that you need to take in the future, you get lost. Well, I think to some extent, searching for that pattern is why we overthink.
I think we can get lost in patterns too, though.
Yeah, definitely that too.
Getting caught in a rut,
you can even get lost in doing the same thing over and over again every day.
Oh, absolutely.
You can even get lost in that.
It's that, but okay. So here's a weird. Lost can be meditation.
Yeah.
You can find a part of your cycle.
Right.
In a day that every day what you do is this thing and you lose yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad lost.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lost you can grip onto.
Right.
That if you're feeling lost, I found finding other people that felt lost made me feel less lost. Only in the sense that I didn't feel alone anymore. So that as opposed to going, oh my God, I am stuck in this condition that only I understand. Mm-hmm. Simply going, oh, this is part of the human condition. Mm-hmm. This is a natural part of discovering who we are and what. That being lost is really not lost. It's finding the things that define us. Mm-hmm. It's the ways. Sometimes that lost feeling is a moment you're defining your path.
I gotta meditate more.
Me too.
Seriously, because I think I find more clarity when I meditate, just because I take a second to not think, to try my best to just breathe.
Well, we do have the mindfulness class coming up soon with Ginger Hayes.
Right.
A lot of us are going to do it here, and then I think my understanding is eventually it may even be up online. Mm-hmm. We'll do our side from here because she's going to do it on Zoom. It's mindfulness. It's got a little bit of yoga, but more of my understanding of mindfulness class. I've talked about doing something in February where we all start with just 4 of the deepest cleansing breaths we can on February 1st. Mm-hmm. And then what you do is you add 1 for each day for the 28 days.
I was going to say, can we do that on the 14th?
Poor child.
That's hilarious.
It's funny. We all desperately want relationships, and then at the same time, we all desperately hate the drama.
Right? It's the drama piece that we all hate because we all want to have fun. We all want to enjoy someone else's company.
Fantasizing is catastrophizing with extra steps. Predicting what will happen next and how,
right,
as opposed to just deciding who you are and what you are doing,
right,
can tear you down. Even if people try to arrive in the best way they can, they're going to arrive in their way, and now it's not going to meet your expectation because you've dreamed of a thing that isn't even a reality, and blah 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 blah.
Right. There's a whole thing.
So the thought would be, so you could take any day of the month. Don't mind if you miss a day. You just add 3 to the date of the month.
Okay.
By the end, you're doing 31 deep cleansing breaths, and you've built a pattern. 4 breaths sounds like nothing. 5 sounds like nothing. I mean, you're up at 10 going, this is not a thing, but now you're doing it every day, and you've done it for 10 days.
Right.
31's a lot.
Yeah.
But even if you lose count, don't worry about it. You're meditating now.
Well, if you're building up to it, it won't feel like
that. I got in trouble on one of my Buddhism for Beginners is a group on Facebook that I really like. I like a lot of their content. I got in trouble because then I like to think of, I relate all of the steps and all of the things to other pieces of wisdom I've found elsewhere. Have you ever heard about how to carry a cow? I might have told you.
You when the cow's born, you pick up the cow, and every day you pick up the cow. You walk around with it, and eventually you'll be able to lift the whole cow.
Right.
That's the thought. Well, I used to want to challenge myself to do as many push-ups as I could.
Okay.
And I started off with 20 because that's how many I could do, and then every day I tried, like every 2 days I'd add 5.
Okay.
And eventually I got up to 100 pretty easy. I was doing 100 push-ups a day for like 2 weeks.
Well, if you're training for a marathon, you start off, you have to learn how to walk first.
Right.
Literally. Right. You have to learn how to walk first.
Right.
Nobody's running marathons that didn't learn how to walk. Well, okay, wait a minute. Wheelchairs. Sorry, I'm not trying to be
exclusive. I didn't think about that.
You know what? There's a million people out there with a million different perspectives.
Yeah. In that case, it'd be arm strength.
Yes, in that case, it would be arm strength. You're right. But you'd still build it up the same way.
Right.
I feel that way about all of my intellectual pursuits as well. I think of it as muscles. So if you're working on meditation, don't start with, okay, I'm going to meditate for an hour. And then 5 minutes in, you're going, man, I'm not any good at this.
Just meditate for 5 minutes, man.
And then 6, and then 7. An hour is a long time. But that's a different kind of thing.
I will say an hour does feel like a long time when you haven't even been able to sit down for more than 5 minutes for a while, you know?
Whether it's your compassion muscle, your meditation muscle, your mindfulness muscle, you need to not criticize yourself for not having those muscles yet.
Right.
That I read a lot from people who are trying to start out in meditation, and they're very upset about why it's so hard. Well, I still have these thoughts coming in because you're human.
Yep.
Now, the way I always picture it, the muscle I always picture, I actually have a visual muscle picture in my head of how to deal with this.
Okay.
So you're meditating, and you're meditating, and then the thought comes in. Now, a lot of times I like a visual cue. I might actually be looking at a flame or a pond, or it doesn't matter. And then a thought comes in. Well, and you're not upset at the thoughts.
Right.
That makes it harder for you to stay at peace. You simply go, oh, not right now.
I like to think about it like doing
and then you bring yourself back. Yeah, like not right now.
Yeah. Like
wax on. Wax off.
But like seriously, it really is like that, because to some extent you just got to keep reminding yourself, hey, we're focusing on breathing right now.
Right. Bring it back to the breath.
And it's not oh dang, I had that thought. That's you know?
So the reason meditation is the first step to mindfulness. And for those of you that have gotten a little deep in the weeds on the meditation part, for me, these are the pieces that allow you to come to terms with feeling lost and how to get out. That the reason meditation is the first step is the way you get to mindfulness is this part. the way you're in the moment is if you have worked on using the muscle that makes it so that when you're in the moment, you can go, oh, not now.
Eventually, it's automatic.
Well, no, you're gonna.
Well,
the thing is, the practice is eternal, and you will work at it all your life.
The thing is that.
Oh, I said eternal. Nothing's forever.
When I meditate, like.
Okay.
When I used to meditate more, I would like the more I meditated, the more automatic it became to not think.
Oh, absolutely.
To just sit and not think about anything. I mean, I'd still get thoughts, like, but it would be a little bit easier to push them away and just focus on my breathing than the first day that I started. Because the first day I started, I was just thinking.
You could only do 20 push-ups.
Right.
And so it builds.
Right.
In everything we're building, in everything in our life, and this is not particularly of any spiritual meaning, everything starts from the lowest rung on the ladder. Don't get me wrong, there are savants and people who pick up things very quickly, but they still had to pick it up quickly.
Right.
Even if it's all in their head and they picked it up without additional education, there was a mechanic.
Right. There was a way to get there.
So for me, there are the mechanics of living. There is the energy of living. And how do I get those working together? That we're a saucy bag of chemicals and energy, and there seems to be me on the outside looking at it. And that's the part you're trying not to lose. The part that can occasionally go, damn, that was a day. You better set that down.
Right?
Don't carry that water.
Right?
Because it can get so heavy that we don't know how to stand up.
To some extent, I've even learned that when I have a good day, I have to figure out a way to like calm down.
Oh, yeah.
To some extent,
don't get lost in the extremes.
When I have a good day and I keep going, I end up burning myself out.
I get that.
And I end up using too much of my energy.
And when you have a good day, you didn't even have to use your AK.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good day.
That's a good day. That's a good day.
I had a good day. Didn't even have to use my AK.
You have an AK?
I do not have an AK.
Yep.
I do not.
That's funny.
But, gee, we get all of us lost. And all we can do is try and build a toolbox.
Right.
You're going to have days. Some days it's harder to see the good than others. And some days it's harder to be present than others.
Right.
They are still days.
Still days. Still the day.
You were still at school. You were still learning things. In the debate, I hear people go, this person's wrong or that person's right. And in my head, those are both valid answers that teach me things. That if I see a wrong answer, it strengthens an answer I feel, or not a wrong answer. I don't mean to ever judge anybody's answers as wrong. I don't mean it like that. But I see from a different perspective, and that sometimes changes or focuses my perspective.
To some extent, I try to, I have a hard time taking stances on things because of the fact that I can see how both people could be right in either situation. And a lot of times it gets me in trouble where I'm like, people get annoyed at me because they're like, well, why don't you agree with me? And I'm like, because I don't see how both of you guys are wrong.
Okay, right.
Like to some extent, I can see that you would be right in this certain situation with these circumstances, and you would be right in this certain situation with these circumstances. So to some extent, I can't agree with either of you. Like, I kind of just I don't know where to fall.
The reality
I don't know.
Of life, that to some extent perspective defines so much, and we know perspective isn't real.
Yeah, and you can definitely get lost in. You can get lost in perspective, definitely. You can get lost in your own perspective. You can get lost in other people's perspective. Right. You can
define yourself by other people's perspective.
You cannot even know exactly. You cannot even know where the perspectives are coming from.
Well,
and get lost. There's a lot of ways to get lost.
Well, and the problem is,
yeah,
especially when you feel lost, one of the perspectives in your head is often grinding away at you. That it's how you have to, man. one has to learn how to try and be compassionate with oneself. It ends up, as much as we tend to blame the outside world for the harsh perspectives that we define ourselves by, usually it's that they're playing into our inner perspective and something we're worried people will identify.
Right.
So when somebody calls you lazy, even though you're not, if you're a person that is concerned about, am I?
Right.
Sometimes your inner perspective goes, see, see, they were right. All you knew what you were talking about.
For a while, I had a big problem if anyone like called me like narcissistic.
For the record, that's a word that everybody's dumping around a lot lately. And
it is
actually a clinical thing.
Like,
there's a degree.
not just that, but like any form of like self-centered or anything like that. And the problem I realized I was having was that I feel like I'm self-centered, like to my core. And I understand that thought of I am self-centered means that I'm not as self-centered as I think I am.
Because you think about it.
Right, because I think about it.
But
not being. At the same time, it still gets to me. Because it's like, dang, this is really an insecurity that I have to deal with.
Can I tell you a secret? You're going to grow. You're young right now, and part of that is time.
Yeah.
That's there. I have found that there are some things that came with time. That A, you work on them. B, some things you come to terms with the idea that, okay, everyone.
I try to operate under the idea that the thoughts that I have now, I will not always have.
Oh yeah.
I try to live with that idea in my head. So to some extent, I'm usually okay. Like even when I'm struggling with insecurities and thoughts and being in my head all the time, even when I'm struggling with these things, I try to constantly keep it in my mind that these thoughts will not always be here.
These things shall pass.
Yes, this too shall pass.
So I comment I put up the other day was regarding that was you need to remember when you're in the midst of something bad, feeling lost, this too shall pass. But what you have to remember is when you're in the middle of something really great, when something's really got you the other direction.
Right.
This too shall pass.
Right.
All things pass.
Right. Realistically.
All things pass.
Right.
So there's a very transient nature to our journey that as much as lost feels like lost, maybe those are your moments of greatest discovery. Those are where you're actually sitting down and working through what defines you. That lost is found. I don't know.
Lost is, I think to some extent, I've had people ask me like, hey, how did you figure out that music was what you wanted to do?
How'd you figure out your spark?
Yeah, so to speak. And to some extent, I have no idea how to answer that question because of the fact that, like, I have no clue on how I stumbled upon this as an answer. You know, like I kind of when people tell me that they're lost and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, maybe that's where you need to be right now. To some extent, maybe you need to be a little lost just right now.
Embrace the lost.
Embrace the lost, as opposed to
be afraid of it.
Being afraid of it and being scared of it, because it's gonna happen no matter what you do. It's kind of like when you're sad. Instead of being afraid of the fact that you're sad and overthinking about the fact that you're sad, just be sad, man. Be sad.
Let yourself be there.
Be sad. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself
experience the moment.
Yes, experience the moment. Take in the now.
So,
to some extent.
So good or bad.
Yes.
Allow yourself the room
to feel.
To be.
Yes. I'm big on that. I'm big on you need to feel what you need to feel, and don't let anyone tell you how to feel. Don't let anyone.
But don't lash out at people.
Yeah, don't lash out at people. Just you gotta let people know, hey, I'm feeling this way. If anything comes across as negative or anything, like if I come across as a certain type of way, I'm feeling a certain type of way, and I don't mean to.
Right. Hit
harm
them up
anybody.
Front with, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Right.
Communicate.
So when I talk to my friend and he's like, I'm lost, I don't know what to do with my life, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, just feel that. Just live in it. Just go through your days and do what you got to do. You'll figure it out.
Well, and I think I'm back to, but there's a good thing to be said for like meditation.
Definitely.
That in sitting in it, actually sit in it. Don't mope in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean by the difference?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference.
Yeah. Investigate what you're feeling, not let the feeling define you.
Right.
Circles, man.
Right. There's a lot of awareness you have to have in order to get out of a place of feeling lost. You have to have a lot of awareness of not only how you feel, but how you're going to feel in the future.
So one of the things we started off talking about communication, and how one of the important things in not being lost or in feeling less lost is communicating what you feel and need. We've talked about the value of being lost, the self-discovery, and the ways that lost is not necessarily something you need to run away from. It can be a defining moment, and how meditation can help bring us. Don't ever stop seeking. When you're lost, I think don't stop seeking.
Even when you're not lost, keep seeking.
Well, in my head, I don't think we've ever given my views on the meaning of life, right? What is the meaning of life? Dum 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 dum. What?
Is that like a bass? Is that
I don't know.
Attempted a string bass?
Boom 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 dum 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 dum.
Have you? No, like the jazz. I said a boom boom.
I think it's a trick question.
It's a trick question. Okay.
I think what is the meaning of life is a trick question.
Got you.
I think all of life's questions, in general, I have found to be trick questions. So if, as you're deeply trying to figure out what is the meaning of existence, my answer is ask questions. My answer is seek.
I have a slightly different answer now.
If you stop looking for meaning, you stop growing. That's life.
To some extent, I kind of think now that the answer to the meaning of life is make of it what you will. It's up to you.
A bountiful cornucopia, make of it what you will.
Yeah, like literally.
A brief stay.
When you're an old person on your deathbed, you and only you will be the one to contemplate your entire life.
Well, and don't.
So just live it. Just do what you got to do.
Mistakes make the best stories, guys.
You know, like honestly. Oh, I can't remember. I can't think about the time that I thought that. I can't believe that I thought that at one time. That was so stupid. But it's okay though.
Embrace
like,
that.
You know,
oh
like
my
it's
God,
okay.
Embrace that. Embrace like
Definitely.
every time you find your thoughts change or you grow, embrace that, and then like pass it on to everything else you think. Like, oh well, wait a minute. If the things I think can change,
right.
I guess it can all change. I don't know.
Right. It can all change at any second.
That's decidedly what we have to keep in mind. That lost is just as transitory as any other feeling.
Yeah.
That you've been here.
You'll be here again.
Absolutely. Life.
Yeah.
Big circles. Big circles.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle. She's the town bike. What? Oh, sorry. You don't want another town bike.
Another town bike?
Town bike. Never mind.
Town what? What?
Exactly. We're a little lost as well.
We are lost sometimes.
That I know this was a little deep today, and I promise Friday is, as always, going to be upbeat. We're going to kind of come in less of a, this is what we're doing, more of a, hey, what you doing?
We're a little bit more reflective today. That's okay.
Well, that's kind of the goal. Yesterday we got over the hill, us and the dwarves. Shoot, Monday we were looking at Martin Luther King and how we idolize our idols and make them less than people, and how we have to remember we're as human as they are, and which empowers us to do whatever they could have done, in the sense that, no, it's just people all the way down. And it's just you. It's how do you deal with it? What do we do on Tuesday, man? What was Tuesday? Martin Luther King.
I don't remember.
Wednesday was the dwarves.
I do not remember.
Wild card. That's why we don't remember.
Yep.
It was just wild card Tuesday. Talking. Get a hold of us. Tell us what you thought of the week.
Yep.
Telling you, there's some videos up on YouTube. We're working on the migration right now.
Yes.
We have some other stuff we're really wanting to do, but at the same time, we're trying to get this pretty solidified, get our day down.
Yep.
And then that way, eventually, we can ask you all for money.
Get into the groove of things.
Get into the groove. It's a little short today.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call
that's
it.
okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
You know what? If you're out there and you're feeling lost, reach out, communicate. Know that it's okay to feel lost. Mm-hmm. We both suggest that there are forms of meditation that might help. That may not be your answer. I know I'm medicated on top of it all. One show we're talking about is morning meds. You guys come see me watch me take my meds every morning. Don't let lost be where you stay, but embrace that sometimes it's okay to feel lost. When you're sitting at a crossroads of life, it's okay to take the time to decide which path you're taking.
That was beautiful.
Namaste.
I don't have better words than that. That was pretty.
You know what? In the end, I missed. There we go. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one.
Blah, dude, shut up.
That's funny.
Oh my god, he came back. I thought he was going to switch it, and then he came back. Doesn't even say where's the line on it, does it?
No, it does. It does. It just... There's a little corner.
I know.
It's hilarious. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just end it. It's fine.
It's gonna move. It's gonna move. Wait, I moved it. I know I did.